Have you ever visited a European country so hidden that it feels almost invisible on the global map? This is Europe's poorest nation, a place so unknown even fellow Europeans haven't heard of it. Here, a fascinating paradox unfolds, where the most beautiful women significantly outnumber men, making it feel as if men have simply disappeared. However, those who visit encounter a culture where their lives are simple but profoundly authentic. But that's not all. Hidden beneath the surface lies the world's largest underground wine cellar, spanning an incredible 320 kilometers of tunnels, with 100 kilometers strictly dedicated to wine storage. If you are curious to experience a world where you can expect extraordinary hospitality from beautiful women who maintain a level of daily elegance that looks like a high-fashion runway, yet for them it is just an ordinary Tuesday morning commute, watch the full video and keep your comments all over the top. Welcome to Moldova. Officially the name Republic of Moldova is a small country in Eastern Europe, positioned quietly between Romania to the west and Ukraine to the east and north. Covers an area of approximately 33,850 square kilometers. For perspective, that's about the size of slightly smaller than the U.S. state of Maryland. With a GDP per capita of around $7,600, it officially ranks as one of the poorest countries in Europe. The capital, Chișinău, is home to around 700,000 inhabitants, while the entire country has a population of approximately 3 million. Here, life is simple but authentic. Whether you visit Moldova for tourism or to meet people, you'll find a fascinating contrast between tradition and modernity, natural beauty and human charm. For anyone who actually steps foot in Moldova, they quickly realize that the true soul of this country isn't found in its buildings, it's in its people, especially the women. Moldovan women are globally admired for their effortless natural beauty. Physically, they are often tall, slender, and possess striking cinematic features. Fair skin with olive undertones, high-defined cheekbones, deep-set expressive eyes, and thick, lustrous hair. Whether showcasing their culture in traditional embroidered blouses called kamasi or navigating modern city life, their aesthetic is undeniable. But beneath the beauty lies a fascinating demographic and social paradox. As of 2026, more than 52.7% of the population is female. In fact, there are roughly only 90 men for every 100 women in the country. This shift is deeply tied to a heartbreaking statistic. Moldovan men live on average only 67.5 years, nearly 9 years less than women, driven by heavy financial stress, high rates of drinking, smoking, and limited health care. Moldova also has a young population that dreams of a different future. Many young men emigrate to work abroad, leaving many single women behind. These women, often young and single, are open to meeting foreigners, and some seek to improve their economic situation while sharing their natural charm. Furthermore, there is a profound education gap. In Moldova, women are generally much more educated than men, graduating from universities at higher rates. Yet the systemic wage gap means women still earn approximately 15 to 17% less than men, often segregated into lower-paying sectors like healthcare and education. In rural areas, the pressure is even starker. Over 11% of women marry before the age of 20, quickly transitioning into mothers who shoulder twice as much unpaid household labor as men, rarely complaining openly about what society views as the natural order. Meanwhile, men typically marry later, around 29 or 30, burdened by the heavy societal expectation to first secure a steady job and buy a home before ever starting a family. In the Ukrainian border territories, you will also find young, single Ukrainian women who, due to the difficult situation in their country, see Moldova as a place to build new relationships and opportunities. Moldovan society remains deeply rooted in traditions, family, and community. The inhabitants are known for their warm hospitality, honesty, and simplicity. The official language is Romanian, although Russian remains widely spoken and English is understood in the major cities. Economically, Moldova is the second poorest country in Europe after Ukraine. However, the quality of life is surprisingly higher than in many Latin American countries and some more expensive European nations. Rent, food, and services are much cheaper than in other parts of Europe, allowing you to fully enjoy your stay without spending too much. The local currency, the Moldovan leu, is very accessible for visitors from Europe or America. You can withdraw money from any ATM with a Visa or MasterCard, although it's always useful to carry some cash. Despite its relative poverty, the country has much to offer. The beating heart of this nation is its capital, Chișinău, which serves as the political, economic, and cultural center. Built beautifully on 7 hills just like ancient Rome, even featuring a replica statue of the Capitoline wolf downtown. The city carries deep scars. First documented in 1420, most of Chișinău was completely leveled during World War II and a tragic 1940 earthquake. The Soviets rebuilt it in the 1950s, which is why the city is dominated by the utilitarian, brutalist high-rises designed by the famous Soviet architect Alexei Shuzev, the mastermind behind Lenin's mausoleum. Today, an intense urbanization trend is happening, with 46% of the population now living in cities compared to just 38% a decade ago. To truly understand the unique spirit of Moldova, you must look at its complex multicultural tapestry. While the primary language is Romanian, the daily rhythm of life is shared with Russian, Gagauz, and Ukrainian languages. Faith and tradition are the anchors of this society. Around 95% of the population identifies as Orthodox Christian, divided between the Moldovan and Romanian Orthodox churches. If you look closely at their official flag, you will see this deep religious heritage proudly displayed. Do you know of any other country's flags that feature prominent religious symbols? Let me know in the comments below. But for travelers, entering Moldova is relatively straightforward. You won't need extensive paperwork. Often a return ticket and a hotel reservation are enough to avoid complications. Once you land at the airport, getting to the city center is simple. You can take a bus or a taxi, but be cautious. Regular taxi drivers often recognize tourists and may charge far above the normal fare. A better option is to use the Yandex Go taxi app, which offers more reasonable rates. Before you set off, it's wise to have a few US dollars with you to exchange for Moldovan leu, as local currency is essential for transport and small purchases. Currently, $1 US is worth about 16 Moldovan leu. But what is the actual price of survival here? A full-time worker in Chișinău takes home approximately 15,000 to 16,000 lei per month after taxes, roughly 850 to 900 USD. For public sector workers, like teachers, that drops to around 12,000 to 13,000 lei, or 650 to 750 USD. While this sounds manageable, a small apartment in downtown Chișinău costs between $300 and $400 per month in rent. Once you calculate electricity, heating, water, and medicine, the average Moldovan is doing daily mental math just to survive, leaving no room for emergencies or dreams. Yet, for a tourist, this affordability makes Moldova an unexpected paradise. A quality meal at a restaurant costs between $8 and $10, a 3-star hotel runs just $30 to $40 per night, and a cappuccino is a mere $1.70. Public transportation is incredibly cheap at just 34 cents a ticket, meaning travelers on modest budgets can experience the city in complete comfort. Moldova is a country of profound patience and quiet resilience. Its economy remains largely dependent on agriculture and remittances from Moldovans working hard abroad. Job options are limited, and many brilliant doctors, engineers, and teachers are forced to seek opportunities overseas because local wages cannot match the rising cost of living. And yet, despite the struggles, Moldova remains a beautiful paradox, a place where people move with deep purpose, where the lifestyle is slower and freer, and where a visitor arrives as a tourist but leaves completely transformed by the warmth of its people and the secrets of its ancient land. Moldovan women, often single due to male emigration, are especially attentive, elegant, and curious about the world beyond their country. For those who dream of meeting young women from Eastern Europe in a picturesque and authentic setting, Moldova is a unique destination. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the real, hidden side of Moldova, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss our next cinematic journey into the world's most fascinating destinations. Until next time, goodbye.